'Twas a feeling started long ago, one bleak and wintry morn, when the call went out for volunteers and a nation being born. No sunshine patriot speeches, no summer soldier song, for the special ones who paid the price to keep the country strong.
When we were needed, we were there. We were there when we were needed, we were there.
No, it wasn't always easy, wasn't always fair, but when freedom called, we answered, we were there. If you want to find out who we are, just ask us where we've been. From the frozen fields of Valley Forge to a trail called Ho Chi Minh, through the glory and the sacrifice, we do our job each day. We're citizens and soldiers, an army all the way.
When we were needed, we were there. We were there when we were needed, we were there.
No, it wasn't always easy, wasn't always fair, but when freedom called, we answered, we were there.
When we were needed, we were there. We were there when we were needed, we were there.
No, it wasn't always easy, wasn't always fair, but when freedom called, we answered, we were there. We were there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 31st President of the Army Aviation Association of America, Brigadier General Retired Howard W. Yellen.
Army Aviation, how far we've come. Gliders and L-4 Cubs in World War II 60 years ago. Following Korea, former 82nd Airborne Commander General Jim Gavin, when reflecting about the Army's uneven performance in Korea, proposed a solution in a 1954 Harper's Magazine article. And he stated, I mean helicopters and light aircraft to lift soldiers armed with automatic weapons and hand-carried anti-tank weapons, and also lightweight reconnaissance vehicles mounted with anti-tank weapons. It motivated the Army to begin air cavalry. Air mobile doctrine began to be developed, but to accelerate the process, it required the House Board to advocate for air mobility. When war loomed large in the remote jungles and hills of Southeast Asia, Army aviation came of age. After Vietnam, Army aviation continued to grow, develop, and mature. Now, a new generation of highly capable platforms began to join the fleet. AH-64 Apache attack aircraft, UH-60 Black Hawk assault helicopters, upgraded heavy-lift CH-47 Chinook aircraft, the OH-58 Delta Kiowa Warrior Scouts, and more recently, our efforts to consolidate all fixed-wing assets, as well as a host of non-standard rotor-wing aircraft. Then, on April 12, 1983, we became a distinct branch, permitting commissioned officers to join warrant officers and enlisted soldiers as full-time professional aviation personnel. Every Army division organized a potent and capable aviation brigade. As the air assault contingent, the 101st Airborne Division eventually had two of them. And since necessity is the mother of invention, the Army selected, equipped, and fielded a one-of-a-kind Special Operations Aviation Force, the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. The decision to establish the branch was quickly validated in Grenada, and since 1983, Army aviation has played a significant role in every major combat operation, including Panama, the First Gulf War, Somalia, Haiti, and the Balkans. In addition, Army aviation has been there when disaster relief operations and humanitarian assistance was desperately needed. such as Hurricanes Andrew and Katrina and Superstorm Sandy. But in no conflict since Vietnam has the power and the importance of Army aviation been so realized as in Afghanistan and Iraq, where Army aviation has allowed ground commanders to escape the tyranny of terrain by conducting operations in unforgiving deserts and mountains and in all possible climates and environments. Unmanned aerial systems burst upon the scene and became an indispensable aviation asset to our ground force commanders. And the world will never forget the 2nd of May, 2011, when Special Operations aviators navigated the 120 miles into Pakistan at night, inserted Navy SEALs to destroy America's enemy #1, and then got them out. It's exactly what Army aviation visionaries, many of whom are in this room this morning, had envisioned and intended. They can be duly proud. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2014 Army Aviation Association of America's Mission Solutions Summit. Beginning last evening and for the next 2 days, we'll all have the opportunity to network, both in the professional sessions and on the exhibit floor, where you'll have the opportunity to learn about the aviation products and capabilities of our aviation industry partners. We'll take the time to recognize deserving personnel and units who have excelled in 2013. You'll have your voice heard as we conduct a variety of deep dive sessions and meet and talk with today's Army Aviation senior leaders as they take center stage in the Technology Learning Center to answer your pressing questions. And lastly, we're proud to support a variety of worthwhile efforts as our Scholarship Foundation, off-site meetings such as the NATO Helicopter Inter-Service Working Group and the Soldier Cafe, a low-cost alternative for current active, Guard, and Reserve soldiers and their families. This is the one time a year that our total Army aviation community, active duty, reserve, National Guard, Department of the Army civilian, retired, and industry gathers to pursue excellence, ensure readiness for the future, and permit us to make a difference for our soldiers and their families. Quad A trusts this will be a rewarding summit for all our attendees. Again, good morning, thanks for your presence, and welcome to the summit. For many, 9/11 is a distant memory. For those who have worn and continue to wear the uniform, it is a recognizable fact that many of our soldiers are still in harm's way. Army aviation is not immune to the reality of the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a tribute to our Army aviation soldiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice since our last annual forum in April 2013. Please be seated. please join me in a round of applause for Sergeant Major Dudley in that stirring national anthem, Mr. Joe Ausfall for providing this bagpipe music, and for that impeccable and magnificent, spectacular color guard from the 101st Combat Aviation Brigade. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in a round of applause. Before we continue, I ask you to join me in recognizing a recipient of our nation's highest military award, the Medal of Honor, Colonel Retired Bruce Snake Crandall. Snake? We thank all of the senior leadership of the Department of Defense, Army, and Army Aviation for their effort to make this significant event happen, and to those who have taken the time to be here this morning. We also thank those allies from so many different countries who are here with us for these 2 days. And finally, and most important, I would like to ask all of those in uniform and your family members who are with you this morning to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your service and commitment. And finally, this year we'll be making a donation to the Army Aviation Scholarship Foundation on behalf of all the speakers as a thank you and in recognition for their participation. We're honored to welcome this morning as our keynote speaker, the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, General John F. Campbell. As you know, the Vice Chief of Staff is the busiest soldier in the Army, as he handles the day-to-day administration of the entire Army, and so we're most fortunate to have him with us this morning. General Campbell has demonstrated a deep understanding and respect for the power of Army aviation. A former commander of the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, Deputy Chief of Staff G357, and is no stranger to the Army aviation community, General John Campbell. No problem.